complex. You being here in this room, perhaps you have the most courage of anyone here the whole last 3 days. Why are you willing to come, risk being misunderstood by people of your own country, meet with evangelicals? I mean, do you get afraid? Do you worry somebody could do something to me? I mean, why would you do this?
Well, Bob, let me put it to you this way. I think truth always prevails. And when you can express your truth as plainly and as clearly as you can, even those who may initially take umbrage at that or find fault with it will respect you for having said the truth. And respect is important in human relations. If we don't respect each other, we'll get nowhere. So I don't think I am taking a risk, either back home or among this congregation of people here, because what I am speaking is who I am. And you've got to take me for what I am. If not, then there can be never any understanding between us. But what I offer you is that I will take you as you are as well, and accept your truth as being valuable to you, as my truth is valuable to me. And that's how humanity begins. When Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam, were born and grew up, and then Cain decided, for whatever reason, to take his brother's life. In the Quran, there are verses to that story in which Abel tells him, if you are going to kill me, I am not going to raise my hand to you, because I have faith in God. And you will suffer the consequences of your punishing me or killing me. And that's what Cain did. He killed his brother, and for the rest of his life, he went through suffering. He couldn't even find a way to bury his brother, according to the story of the Holy Quran. And God sent a crow to dig on the ground and bury another crow there to show him how to do that. So this is what lack of respect, not accepting someone else's truth, and not providing understanding and compassion to another means. It brings people to this kind of struggle and conflict that leads to killing. And that's not what we're here about. We're here about bringing people together. Not just because King Abdullah made that call 2 years ago, but also because all the prophets, and we consider Adam to be the first prophet, and the rest of the series of prophets that I mentioned in yesterday's scripture reading, have a truth to tell. And that truth is that we must love God above all. And from there, everything falls into place. So this is where I come from. Now, whether I offend people by doing that, they can take offense if they like. But I think, generally speaking, people back home understand that, because that's how they also think of their faith.
Are there many Saudis who think like you think?
Well, I hope so. I grew up in a generation that went through similar experiences like me. I've seen, as I said, the King taking the leadership in promoting this engagement with others, with full support. If you look at the surveys of opinion in the kingdom, you'll find that his popularity has never been higher than it is today. So his message is getting through.
It's good.
To the people.
When we were together last time, you were telling me, it was very moving, about your father. And when he was assassinated, how do you deal with fear? I mean, someone like you have to, even though it's true, I'm just curious, do you ever deal with fear?
Everybody deals with fear. Growing up, it was either fear of the dark, fear of the unknown, sometimes even fear of your parents. But, that's part of human nature. And the way to deal with fear in my view, is to face it with faith. So having fear, and if you don't have faith, then you lose your way, and you let fear overtake you. But when you have faith, I think you can face any challenge. And this is where the teachings that I grew up in emphasized that faith is above everything. Everything else comes from that.
I think, I don't understand all the Muslim denominations, who likes who doesn't like who. I thought there were only two kind. I've discovered there's at least 10 kinds of Muslims now, and the list continues to grow. But you are a phenomenal ambassador, thank you, to the evangelical church. I wish more of them, I wish more Americans could have conversations. And I don't know, you young Saudi men that are here, you should be proud of this man. I don't know how his views line up with your views, but just your ability to sit and talk. I think that you should use one of your oil wells and start a talk show in America. And it should be as Saudis see it. And talk about how you like Americans and just candid questions, because the reality is we don't know you. And all we have is what the media says, and it's not always accurate.
You know, when Bob yesterday was teasing me about the oil well, you remember that?
You didn't say anything.
Right. And today, again, he said, I was teasing you. I said, Bob, come on. I don't have an oil well to give you in the first place. But the custom is that if you express admiration for somebody's possessions, whatever it is, he or she are supposed to immediately respond by saying, take it, it's yours. But you're supposed to say, no, thank you. And I told him a story about an uncle of mine who was a good friend of an famous Egyptian music composer and singer, but who were also famous for being a bit, tight, stingy, and greedy. And one day he met him, and this musician looked at my uncle, and he said, Your Highness, what a beautiful tie you have on. Expecting, of course, my uncle to say, okay, take it. But what my uncle said, thank you. I will wear it for you every time I see you. Bob, let me just say that Saudi Arabia is a work in progress. We're a young country. We're learning our way. We have high ideals, like everybody else does. We don't come up to those ideals, nor do we expect to ever achieve complete nirvana, as our Hindu brothers would say. But on the other hand, we're striving to achieve those ideals. And meeting with people like you is something of that strife that we have, and that struggle, not just with you, but within ourselves.
I think we're all going through a lot of self-discovery right now. And contrary to what a lot of people would say, I don't think it's a bad thing the world is all coming together. It's going to force us to sharpen all of our faith.